Good morning. Welcome to FYI family. Good to see each and every one of you. We had a long weekend. Good to have all of you back. We hope that you've hit the ground running. It is Monday, believe it or not. Tuesday, the 18th day of June already. You better pick up the pace. Whatever it is you're doing at your end, pick up the pace. We ain't got no time to lose, folks. No time at all, and we're happy and delighted to have each and every one with you. Derek Wills, it's always a privilege to have good folks like you on with us. It's pace and power. It's another week, at least 4 days of it until we're into that next weekend. And great to see you folks. Wherever you're joining us from, you're joining us at home, you're joining us abroad. Great to see you lovely folks outside with us. Keyboard Hope, Pretty Milicia, Melanie Adams, good to have all of you guys here with us. Great to have you folks here with us. Love having all of you here. Good to see you. Look how many of you joining us already. Is it Naomi Drucker I'm seeing here already? Good morning to you, Naomi. Good morning to you. I had an eventful weekend, to say the least. And Elisa, lovely queen. Good to have you here. Orin Don and all the other folks. Ingrid Crawford. Good to see all you familiar people. I just miss y'all, you know. I just miss y'all. Annalisa, lovely queen. Evelina Whitaker. Vashti Pollard. Anton Nichols. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear this morning. Margaret Nelson. Margaret, I was looking at some photographs with you over the weekend with Elizabeth. Flipping through. Seeing Margaret posing there. Posing up nicely by the battery. Oh, no. Margaret, good morning to you. Good morning to Rio, Luan Hall, John, and on the honor, folks. What a weekend it was. Yeah, I ended up at the hospital for a little bit. Pretty Milicia. Forgive me if the audio might be pitching a little bit. We're trying to solve it, but didn't want a delay coming on too much. Trying to look at that, but we're trying to solve it. So forgive us if we're pitching a little bit. It's not our intention. It's not our intention to be pitching at all. But if we gotta pitch, folks. Great to have all of you. I've got a few things I want to talk with you guys about this morning. As you all might have seen and heard, I had quite an eventful weekend myself. Quite an eventful weekend. But good to see you, Mark, and let me talk about you all a little bit, man. Enough about me. Mark and Sudhari and Irwin Dunn and Jilly G and Siobhan and Melanie, Emerson Holder. Kyle Bino is here. Good to see you, Kyle. Great to see you, Kyle. Luan and Emerson. Radical on the Rhine. Good to see you there. Ayabo, Natasha's on the live this morning. Naomi Drucker said, I hope you pitch when the time comes to pitch. We got to pitch, man. We got to pitch. Naomi, drinking this little black tea here. Respect and manners, Andrew Griffith. We got to pitch when we got to pitch, folks. Here's the pitching. What's in your cup this morning? Oh, like the vexes me this morning. You ever heard the term piping hot? The thing's up. Folks, I had what started out as a little bump on my arm, turned out to be an abscess, and it was giving me fever. You know, the shows we did last week, I was in fever. I'm not one to complain. We got to take a licking and keep on taking, moving through. So I had fever, I was on air, and I kept going. But I didn't want to be debilitated for it this week. So I went to the hospital over the weekend. And they cut it and they drain it. If you see blood. If you see story. Delon Benjamin are coming to you. Delon are coming. Hold on. I'm coming down by your side, Delon. Mark Garnett says sweet blood. Mark, like you had something similar. Because the doctor asked me if I take a lot of sweet. I said, well, I'm trying to cut back now. He said, that's part of the problem. your sweet intake. That's the first question he asked me. When I showed him, I said, there's an abscess here. They asked if I have any history of, what do you call it? A history of something in my family. Hypertension or something of that sort. I said, no, I've never heard anybody in my family trouble with that. Karen, Muhammad said she got some cow milk. You know, drinking hot cow milk, yeah. That's what he said, right? The first thing he asked me, and I said, it's an abscess. He said, are you getting a fever? I said, yes, like this man knows this thing. This doctor knows this thing. I said, yes, I'm getting a terrible fever. Right? And then he asked about any history of, it's not hypertension, I think it's like diabetes. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia, that's a thing, sir. He asked any history of diabetes in your family. I said, no, I don't. Right? My family don't stick like that. We're not that kind of people. We don't stick like that. Right? We just live till 130 and then we're dead. One day we just don't wake up. That's it. It's the goodness die young. In our family, we live till like 130 and then we just dead. One day. Transition. Right? One day we just stop. And that's it. He realized Uncle Sherrod gone. That's what he asked. First question he asked. Any history of diabetes in your family? I said, no. Not as far as I can recall. And listen, I fast. I think it's only about y'all business and PP business I fast about. I fast about my own business. I want to look at Bigfoot. Chicken pox, chikungunya, smallpox, everything, every sickness I want in this family. That's how I am. So I said, no diabetes here. Right? He said, any fever? I said, yes. A couple days now. And then he cut and drain and pour and put me on some augmentin. I've been feeling a little lightheaded. Right? My phone gone and stopped work. It was a weekend. It was an eventful weekend. The phone gone and stopped work. But they done drain up my blood, then the augmentin in my foot. I was feeling lightheaded all weekend. But we're here, folks. I'm feeling much better. I'm happy I don't have any fever this week. And that we're here, you and I. How did you guys spend your weekend? You see, I done talking about all this story already. How did you guys spend your weekend? Joel Ward is here, Siobhan McDonald, Vashti Magnot. And as I said, they did ask about this sweet. The doctor did ask. He said, you use a lot of sweet. I said, it's my middle name. Because of that sweet thing, I told you all. I started the year with my dentist. We have a relationship now. A deep relationship. When somebody went in your mouth for that length of time, chiseling and hammering with blowtorch and fire. That's a commitment, you know. That's a commitment. I literally see my doctor in my mouth with a blowtorch. I say like it's COVID up in there. Right? Marlon, come in, Marlon. Hold on. Grace, come in. I come along by you, Grace. I come in. Gavin got this thing right. Gavin said the doctor ought to know I'm a sweet man. Gavin, the doctor ought to know I'm a sweet man. I'm hearing you. I'm on you there. I see my doctor, my dentist, did some acrobatics. I said this man at least got to get a Nobel Prize now for chemistry. You know? For gymnastics at least. Yeah. You know? My Father have his mercies. But good morning, folks. I'm easing in. I can cover everything this morning. You're going to ask me a question. Right. I don't prep. I almost says ease up on the sugar. Maxine Monroe, Pretty Milicia, Luann Hall, and Edward Brooms, Whitney Doris, Cheryl Mulrain, Good to have all of you here with us. Great to see you on the live. Erwin, Dawn, and Waveney, and beloved, all of you wonderful folks. I told you all I got a eventful weekend. Father's Day, I got a sound cuss out. I got a sound cuss out Father's Day. You know, somebody sent me a link to Melly Mel's page. Good morning, Melly Mel. I was trying to stay on good terms with some people. My dentist, my doctor, I try to stay on good terms. Melly Mel, Boardness, I try to stay on good terms with some people. When I heard that, I said, well, yes. I said, well, yes. What is, you had a chance to hear it? It was something else. No, look, I admire people who could cuss. You know, I admire folks who can take cussing to an art form. 1-2 times I was getting mind for hire a couple of them, you know. Right? I stopped cursing a long time ago. Long time ago. But I'm a person with an ear for linguistics and a language and syntax and so on. So I like when I hear when I hear good cussing. When I hear good cussing, I can recognize it. That was a bitter. I said, this man ought to get a Nobel Prize. This man ought to get a Nobel Prize. Didn't stop there. I was at the office yesterday doing some work, trying to utilize the holiday productively, a little quiet and so on, working with some hard-working colleagues at the office yesterday. I hear a voice that sounded familiar to that voice that probably over 80,000 persons heard in that in that artistic cussing. I heard a voice similar outside the FC office yesterday. And lots of the things that were said in that recording that was on Melly Mel's page, I heard again yesterday. I was inside the building trying to dot some I's, cross some T's. You know, I've been General Secretary of the Alliance for Change for 2 years. And up until now, it had bothered me a little bit that I had a very uneventful 10 years General Secretary. Not a scandal, not a complaint. You know? I was like, no drama, Obama. So I was worried. And then Father's Day happened. Had a lovely Father's Day. The wife took me to one of my favorite places, Aromas. That's the cafe at Pegasus. Opened years ago, and I always loved it there, you know. And my wife took me to Aromas, brought her little son, bow-legged raccoon, brought him there. He eat out half of my portion. You see, make a chair, you don't make the stomach. Clearly. So it's still late in the day, my attention was drawn to this Happy Father's Day that I got in this recording. You know, it was still late in the day. I got that. Right? But I think I know who the gentleman is because I heard him yesterday again. I'm not distracted very easily. I'm not distracted very easily. A lot of people have been trying to distract me. Not only now, in the last 2 years, a lot of people have been trying to distract. I've not been easily distracted. I'm not easily distracted at all. At all. And up until now, I've had a scandal-free 10 years GS. I didn't really intend to start having scandals now. I've been content, as I've told folks, to finish very strong as General Secretary. It's not, I didn't bring the office, and I know I'm not going to hold it for life, but like any office that I hold, I want to leave it a little stronger than I found it. And so when I was honored by the folks of the Alliance for Change to serve in this capacity, and I cherish and relish, and I will, as long as I live, the opportunity to do so, to serve a great party like the Alliance for Change. And so I set about traveling the length and breadth of this country, doing precisely that, the work of the General Secretary, ensuring all our groups are coming back, ensuring that our membership who were despondent since the loss of the 2020 general and regional elections, they were coming back. Folks who had left the leadership for whatever reason, one or the other, to let them know that we don't have a black book. We don't have a green book. We don't have a yellow book. We've been an open book, and all are welcome. All are welcome. And so that has been the task, ensuring that the party structures are up and running as efficiently as possible, that all our groups are functioning. We didn't do it all. We didn't do everything. And I've been privileged to have a great team helping. And as I said to you guys, it's been a tremendous privilege to do that. To travel to region 1 and 2 and 3, around in 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. We've been to every single region in this country, and in some places, in many parts of the region, talking to our Alliance for Change brothers and sisters and inviting others to come on board with us. As I've always said to you, this is my party of choice, and I've never tried to force you to accept that or to convert in any way. So I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm very, very optimistic about the future. Very, very optimistic about the future. And that's what I'm committed to. Building this party from the grassroots, and with the grassroots to continue to connect to our grassroots in this party. Where I'm from, I'm born with no silver spoon. Might not have been to all the top schools in the world, in the country, right? But I know how to get down the ground and talk with people, right? I've been out here talking with you folks close to 4 years now, and I don't intend to stop. It's been the privilege of my life, and I intend to keep on doing that. Folks who want to be, that's why I keep saying to y'all, these leadership contests, they're going to resolve themselves in the AFC, in the PNC, they're going to resolve themselves, right? Those folks who have aspirations of being prime minister and president, I support them. And I want to build, at least on my side, I want to build a party structure that is sound and solid to support whatever presidential candidate the opposition puts up, the collective opposition puts up, or the Alliance for Change puts up, or the PNC puts up. I want to build a strong party, that is able to support that vision. And I have no doubt we're going to be unified in putting up a consensus candidate, whether that is Mr. Norton. We all agree it's going to be Mr. Norton, or we all agree it's going to be Nigel Hughes, for instance. Right? Anybody as Dr. Vincent Adams, But I want to build at my end a strong party that becomes the tip of the spear in this fight, pushing back against the PPP. They are the real enemies, And as I started, folks, I heard that because Southern Father's Day. I heard that. But that fella's not my enemy. He's not my enemy. I forgive him. As I want to be forgiven for any shortcomings that I may have demonstrated in this process. I forgive him. I don't have time with that. I have one political enemy. One. And I've been out here, consistently contending, going to different parts of this country and contending with them. I don't have any enemies in my party. I love every member of my party. I love Guyana. I love her. That's my party comrade. I love Leon. I love David. Those are my party comrades. Those are not my enemies. We can contend within the sphere of party politics, but they're not my enemies. And we can contend, and we can contend vigorously. Nigel's not my enemy. Right? And I dare say this: one person is never president for life. That's not a democracy we have. Right? I would say Aubrey Norton would make a great president. Nigel Hughes, if given an opportunity, would make a great president. I've said the same thing about Royce Ford as well. Amanda Sir Walton this year, given the opportunity, would make a great president. They're not my enemies. Anybody we can offer up on this side will be better than anybody PPP can put up on their side. None of them are my enemies. None. And since we started this programming here, I have never made it a mission of this broadcast or any broadcast I'm a part of attacking the coalition. And you can bear me out on that. And that's going to start now. These guys are not my enemies. We're allowed to have differences and pursue those differences to the logical end. I love all of them, and would fight for any one of them. You know, I bear them no ill will or none of that. So all of that cussing on Father's Day, all the cussing yesterday, all of this forgiven. Let's move on, folks. I want to get to the general elections. That's what I want to get to. Come past these party things here. Come past this party politics, and let us take on the real enemy in this country. And some of that is what I want to continue to talk to us about this morning. That real enemy. I love all of my brothers and sisters in the Alliance for Change. I love me some Kathy Hughes. I love me some Nigel Hughes. I love me some David Patterson. I love me some Diana. I love me some Leon. They're not my enemies. No. No. Not at all. Are we going to disagree? People disagree in political parties all the time. Are we going to contend because we share different views on how do we get to point A or B? Yes. Right. Are we going to disagree on processes during the nomination and all of that? We may. Right. And I reserve the right to have objections. Please and thank you. But I love all of them. I love all of them. So let's move on to some of the real issues in this country. And the real people we should be marshalling our efforts against, because it's a lot happening, folks. It's a lot happening. And if I could only find the thing that helps me to get to my notes. If I could only find that. It's a lot happening, folks. And as we start every day, the first 15. Now, I don't give you about 50 things already. About 50 things already. The last thing I'll say about the Alliance for Change National Conference is that we are in the final stages of planning for this conference. Our returning officers are about to take over. We were privileged to have both Christopher Ram and also Trevor Ben. They have both acquiesced, said yes to being our returning officers, and they're going to have a dual role, because I want transparency. I want accountability. And I want to be practicing one thing here and then preaching something else, or preaching one thing here and practicing something else quietly and internally. So I want a transparent and accountable process. And so we're going to be having both Christopher Ram and, well, this is accountant and attorney, Christopher Ram, if he still will have us, and also the chairman of the GPP, the Guyana Public Service, GPS CCU, Cooperative Credit Union. The chairman, Trevor Ben, former Lands and Surveys Commissioner, he's going to be part of the process too, ensuring that we have a smooth process and as transparent and as an accountable one as we could have. And that's what I'm committed to. Yep. That being said, folks, That being said, I'm seeing the comments, but y'all ain't gonna distract me this morning. Y'all ain't gonna distract me at all. The first 15 things, folks, that's what I want to get to. Right? That's some what I want to get to. All right? Give us a quick set. Somebody sleeping at RN, folks. Give us a quick set. And let us wake up some people around these parts. We had the hours blackout because the power shift, folks. It didn't power. My apologies there. I give you all a long time without intro. And you see the boo-boo that we made? The boo-boo that we made. Alright. I think we did. Apologies. Alright, so this is one of the headlines. A number of headlines trending this morning. And this is one of the headlines we're seeing. Don't we always see it? Guyana is poised to become South America's leading gas hub. Yeah. Largest GDP, fastest growing economy, high income country. All of that is happening. We have some predictions now from a professor that is the basis for part of this writing you see here. CEO of Nigeria-based Nestor Group, Dr. Ernest Obijetu. He says that Guyana is rapidly emerging as the leading oil and gas hub in South America. We know that already. Billions and billions of barrels of oil. You know what consumes me every day? What's in it for us? What's our stake in this future? What's the stake for your kids and your grandkids in this future year? Because so far, we ain't seeing. So far, we have not seen. So everybody coming to tell us how rich and how wealthy we are. But we're not seeing that. I take off the shot now, you're surprised to see how my collarbones them. Like a golf. Things tough in this country. Every Monday, Sabbath News publishes an article titled How the Cost of Living Treating You. And every time we wade through that, it's always the same. Things like can't pay the rent, food stuff. And food stuff getting higher. I told you guys the other morning, a colleague, a businessman, sent to us that the cost for container shipping had gone up astronomically and the local prices were going to increase. And then boom, we saw Bakewell, for instance, telling us that their prices are going up. We started out of Bakewell, and there's additional indication that the prices will continue to go up. And while we're talking about oil and largest economy and GDP and fastest growing and all of that, our response to an event happening out there where all this pumping taking place, we don't seem to be quite there as yet, because they're telling us that Guyana's oil response plan is still under review, but we're pumping billions and billions of barrels of oil. We're pumping a lot of oil, but our oil response, as General Secretary, on behalf of the AFC, you know this by now, I went to Tobago to have a look at that oil spill. You can't have something happening so close in an industry that your country is involving, and you don't go to see what's happening. And those people have a plan that kicks in, protocols that are employed almost automatically. But folks, when the damage is done, it's done. When the damage is done, it's done. And I walked along miles of that coast in Tobago, looking at the impact on the shore, looking at the impact on the wildlife. There's an area in Tobago called Lambeau that rhymes with flambeau. It's a fishing area to see how their lives of fishermen impacted. If all you've seen is oil out there, the fish got oil, how you gonna make a living? How you gonna make a living? So if we don't have our act together, not only will we be paying countries like Trinidad and Tobago and neighbors billions of dollars in cleanup, God forbid some things like that should happen out there, we ourselves could be impacted negatively. But the CDC tells us today, Guyana's oil response plan is still under review. Wow. Isn't that a little bit like the cat before the horse? We pumping. But they don't concern about the systems, you know. Systems gotta work. See, I believe that. Systems gotta work. I'm strong on that. As a general secretary of a political party, systems in the party has gotta work. At least I want the systems under my tenure. No floating, no circumventing of the systems. The systems gotta work. But we have a government, an installed regime. They don't like systems to work. They don't like systems to work at all. And that's the difference with us. And that is why we will keep confronting them at every turn. As I said before, my task is not to confront members of the parliamentary opposition. These are my brothers. My task is not to fight people on my own team. That's not how we do this. Don't do it. We gotta confront them boys who believe that they're not answerable for anybody. So things nice, we pumping plenty, money coming in. But do we have the safeguards in place? Do we have the systemic safeguards? Terribly lacking. As even the CDC head, or the CDC is admitting. And as I said, money coming in. And because money is coming in, you can do a couple of things different than you might have been able to do in the past. Them boys buying body cameras now. It's a step in the right direction. We have to professionalize our police force. Right? We have to recapitalize the Guyana Defense Force. Continue to build a modern defense force. They said we're under the numbers that would give you an army, so we're a force. We have to keep strengthening that. Right? We have a small population, huge land mass, but we're pumping. We gotta encourage people to make some more kids, man. And then we pay them well, we train them well, we educate them well. Let's have them go in the defense force. What's happening, Kwame? Give us some kids, man. Let's put some kids in the Guyana defense. You know, we gotta do what we gotta do. It's body cameras. You know, my thing is now, when something happened, you have an adverse event, and you point to the body cameras. Then I can say, well, it didn't work in. Marlon says, sex scandal in Tacoma. You can hear them walking. The camera walking. The Roman boys get a donation of police vans on Monday, and by Thursday, 3 turnover. You didn't have battery when the shooting take place. But these things now got to become standard practice. And not working body camera should be the odd thing. You know, as we continue to professionalize. Well, if we put in CCTV cameras, at least they could do now. It's a little body camera stuff and so on. That's it. That's the next leg of the way. You see? I hope they get the adequate training. Because no sense you got it, you get by the cameras, and then people taking selfie now. Right? Clicks. Then boys taking selfie and so on. Let us train, equip, and roll ahead. That's what we gotta do, folks. We gotta roll ahead. Or we don't say gotta get 2 daughters. Or that's not for the one to train. It's not for the one to train. You know? 3 boys. Not for my wife will tell you, that girl has been elusive. You go until the 2 are done. You know, I'd be thankful. Thankful for 1. Much more 2. But as we talk about this influx of cash and this bonanza that our oil wealth brings, this largesse. Look at that line today that's trending. Basic amenities lacking at the Queen's College Boys Washroom. Prayer, you know that? I find like prayer fade away a little bit. Like some ministers gone AWOL. Maybe it's a long holiday for me. It's a long weekend. Right? Basic amenities. 4 years in. 4 years in. You hear judge run up the teacher in Queen's College. Students get beaten by teacher. Corporal punishment. What's happening with the toilets here now? Right. These things should become routine. Routine. But they know. The parents at Queen's College know. Unless they write a letter to the paper, that's going to remain unsolved. School going close for summer. Reopen. And they can still have the Queen's College Boys Washroom, lacking the basic amenities. And as Andrew says, never dull moment. Marlon Thomas says the sanction got him quite. Thanks for reminding me of that. Perhaps you're right, Marlon. I'm seeing them. I'm not hearing from them. Perhaps it's the sanctions. Indeed. They got them quiet. Who knows? Maybe it's the sanctions to come as well, because they gotta realize a lot of people being watched. That is what is clearly evident here. If May is being watched, which other PS being watched? If the Muhammad's family run under such close scrutiny, didn't they? American ambassador said it was close to 30 months now or something like that. There's investigation ongoing. I know the people listening to our phone calls. I know that Central Intelligence hard work. Americans listen to their phone calls too. Do for those know, yeah? Mark says sanctions got them nervous. Mark says the sanctioning. Correct is right. The sanctioning. Correct is right. Pretty Melissa reminding me 2 years. There are people watching them. I'm going down. 2 years. So let's look at the toilets there, please. Please, ministry. Talking about sanctions. Talking about sanction. Ramming the skin. US sanctions have shattered anti-laundering standing. US sanctions have shattered anti-laundering standing. Yeah. I wonder how we can rate on the anti-corruption index, the corruption perception index. How are we going to rank for 2024? And we got a good many months ago, 6 months ahead of us. What businessmen are being pulled over when they travel, questioned by Border Patrol. visas being revoked. How we go figure on the corruption perception index for 24? You got to watch for that. Attorney at law accountant Christopher Rabb says that U.S. sanctions have shattered our anti-laundering standing. And how much conference INC Anil went on with anti-money laundering and so on. Oh, they're in compliance. They do this, did that, the next. Well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Not so. It is. It is. The proof of the pudding is in eating. We know we've done badly under the PPP where the corruption fight is concerned. We've done badly, we've done poorly. You all remember Sarah Lynch had issued a statement. I think it was World Anti-Corruption Day 2 years ago, advising PPP to pursue initiatives on this tenor, anti-corruption, show that they're strong against corruption. And the only thing she could have pointed to in the recent past was what the coalition government had done. Blacklisted here, blacklisted there. The government worked to get itself off all those blacklists. Bring on stream several pieces of legislation that focused on anti-corruption. Them boys before had 23 years. Then do nothing. I know the Americans watching them with this Public Accounts Committee in the National Assembly and their posture towards that committee. So when you all get all sanctioned, don't come crying. Don't come crying when you get your sanctions. Long rope for Magadog. Don't come crying. Don't come crying. One of the letter writers in today's press says the GRA should not be weaponized against local content violators. Local content violators. Right? Talking about letter writers, I heard that one letter writer, David Fitzgerald, a Sherry Duncan. Well, I've been called many things. Right? Of late, anti-man. People say, now what people call this way, respond to. So you continue smartly. The GRA should not be weaponized. Now, this is one of the PPP's trademarks, hallmarks, signature. Weaponizing the system against you. Since you start talk up, read the comments, you're the government Amanda Daniels, since you start to get in your activist mode, when last you paid that, the next tax, right? That's what it is. Naomi, you gonna convince me? Now you try to distract me here. Now you will be trying to distract me here. The things you hear, GRA must not be weaponized. And that's part of what we saw in this iteration of government. Weaponization of the courts, weaponization of GRA. Anybody that can be weaponized, they're going to weaponize. That's how them boys chucking it. Anything or anybody they can weaponize. They will. They will. Look what else. Huh? Fastest growing economy. When you're done in a tight situation, you're operating under some extreme circumstances, and then you got this weather, this rainy season come out of nowhere. Then your little crush crops gone. You flooded out. Government meet a Linden yet? To those folks who had that huge flood? Any cash grants for them? We have already made a bad situation worse. Never mind, it's a natural disaster. But we gotta keep lifting up our people who fall in hard times for whatever reason. We gotta keep lifting them up, empowering them. Will Anderson, Brenda Moore, Candy, Nilin Dajit, Andrew Griffith. We gotta keep empowering them. Please and thank you. So let's reach out to those folks who've suffered here with this cash crop situation to ensure that they have the means to get back on their feet. And this is in several areas that have been flooding across the country. One of the features is that the cash crop farmers or cash crops have been damaged countrywide. And this is part of the reporting of civil defense again. Part of the reporting of civil defense. Candy, Nilin, and Diljit, see you there. Dan, Gribbs, Andy, I see you as well. I ain't see Daddy the ages. We're good to see you on the live this morning, Diana. Good to see you, Kishan and Mark and Orwin. Beatrice, good to see all of you folks. Look what else we're following this morning. As we hasten to program time, another accident. Folks, slow down. Please and thank you. Slow down out there so that we can arrive alive. Another life. You know? This is on the East Bank. This happened, they tell us. On the Diamond Public Road. This accident happened and this young driver, as it were, succumbed. How old he was? 22 years old. You ain't started living life yet. Mark Andrew Ramachand, 20 years old, not even 22. 20 years old. The car was traveling north along the eastern driving lane of the western carriageway at a high speed. When the driver lost control, the vehicle skidded, overturned, and ultimately submerged in a nearby trench. Young man Mark Andrew Ramachan was just 20 years old. And he's gone. Slow down. Our young people, please. Let me arrive alive. Gwen says slow down. Speed kills. Slow down out there. Look at this. It's one country we got, you know. One country we're living in. Look at these headlines out there this morning. Child shot in the head over the weekend. Still in a critical condition at hospital. 60-year-old from Monrepo. Allegedly shot in the head on Saturday night. Critical condition. This is according to the Guyana police force. It said ranks on the CID visited the child's home at Monrepo, where she lives with her parents and sister. And they examined the scene of the incident, which is a bedroom that is part of a flat. Right? It's part of a flat unpainted house. They observed a suspected gunshot entry in the zinc, which appeared to have projected inward in the vicinity of the child's bed. Reddish stains, suspected to be that of blood, were on the bed. The release added from the Guyana police force. No spent shell was found in or around the house, and those investigations are ongoing. So a bullet, clearly the report is telling us, entered this house and hit this 6-year-old in the head. Child is in a critical condition. We got a lot of trigger-happy people, you know, in this country. People discharge firearms and in every place. It's madness. Leslie Hamilton conveys my feeling here. Leslie say fed up. Leslie say fed up. Derek Willis. Leslie say I'm fed up. Candy add a little more colorfulness. But Candy say fed up too. Lord have mercy Indeed. 6 years old. 6 years old. You know, fighting for life. Fighting for life. We heard from Ram, the headline there, about where we are with corruption and all of that, given the sanctions by the US Treasury. Okay? Another headline this morning, the PPP government was held in low confidence by the US Department of Treasury. Low confidence, wasn't high confidence. Low confidence. This is GHK Lal writing in today's papers. Give you that some required reading. He explains why they were held in low confidence. And I think Robert Chapman over the weekend put out some information too, that these investigations were ongoing when the coalition took over. I see Donald Ramatar said he was never part of any investigation for gold smuggling, or he didn't know anything about the US investigating for gold smuggling. The people said they did not reveal things to government because they didn't want the investigation to be compromised. Perhaps that is why Donald didn't know that things were happening. They said they did not want their investigation to be compromised. There you have it, folks, the first 15 as we start the day today. Maybe that's why he didn't know, because the folks did not want to be compromised. They didn't want to be compromised. Folks, we're in silly season. You can hear a lot of things. You might see a lot of things. You know, let me hold up focus. I can't promise you we'll hear more cussing. You know, but it don't bother me, and I love all our people. I can't promise you that. I can't promise you you're not going to hear a thief 5 million from Chronicle. I can't promise you mightn't hear, you know, something but Ponzi scheme and it's silly season. Right? It is silly season. But no, your boy can hold a focus. No, your boy can hold a focus. Naomi says not 15 things. Like closest program, find a big problem. FYI family, Naomi said it's not 15 things. Well, you get your way pay for. You get your way pay for. We get your way pay for. Folks, good morning. I tell you, I can't promise you're not going to get more cussing. I can't promise you're not going to hear a thief 5 million from Chronicle, which is still living on 5 years after. Yeah. I can't promise you. Yeah, they have a Ponzi scheme and who involved in Ponzi scheme. I can't promise you any of that. Right? What I know is I got a steady course. Right? And that is to pursue this process, this conclusion. I want to help to build a strong alliance for change that is able to add to the value of the coalition. And that's what I'm committed to. I want to be in a party where the small man matters. Where the small man have a shot at the top. Right? Where a small man, any small man, got a part at the top. That's the kind of party I want to be part. Grassroots. You see? Don't let us become friends, family, and favorites. Don't let me do it. But God's going to do it for us in this end. Wave me, how you doing now, wave me? Diane and Rowena, where the comments? How you doing? Bernadette and Fennel and Ayabo. How you all doing, Kyle? And all the other folks. Sending you all some love today. For the rest of this week. Sending you all some energy. Sending you all some warmth. Those of you in the cold. Whitney Doris, Marcy Agard, Precious Queen. Dan, Claire 6, Charmley Richmond. Good to have you, Claire and Mark and Leon and Stacey Ann and all the good folks joining us this morning. That's going to do it for us. So they said, that's our time. Dexter Charles, Levy Go, Maxine Monroe, Angela Jordan, Ravi Ramaruk, Mark say hungry no hell. I write with you. David Collins and all the other folks, that's your time. Stay safe. That's your program.